evening, everyone. We'll call the town council meeting for the 11th of January for the town of North Beach to order. Vic, I'll ask you, if you would please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
By the way, Stacy Ward,
Yes.
for council's benefit, it's Stacy Ward, and the president. Stacy Ward, as you know, is the president of the Maryland Municipal Clerks Association. They're having a conference somewhere in the state of Maryland this week, so she is therefore not with us tonight. So, Marshall, I'll ask you if you'll call the roll, please.
Mayor Fraser.
Here.
Mr. Benton.
Here.
Ms. Hagan. Here. Mr. Randy Hummel.
Here.
Mr. Mickey Hummel.
Here.
Ms. Shawn Adams. Here. Joanne Hunt. Here. Stacy Walker. Stacy's not here, obviously. Donnie Bowman. Paul Woodburn. Paul Fontone. Rick Trump. Karen Rock. Don Richardson. And Sergeant Norton.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
All right, the motion has been moved and seconded.
Mr. Mayor,
Paul?
I'd like to have one quick business item, quick discussion on the North Beach charging station.
Okay, let's add item B under business items, charging station. Any other changes to the agenda? Okay. With that change, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. I have a motion to approve the minutes of last month's council meeting.
So moved. Second.
Any corrections or additions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have two distinguished attorneys with us this evening, Charles McLeod and Todd Towns. Both are interested in the position of North Beach town attorney. Just as a way of recapping where we are, to my right is Karen Ruff, who has served as town council since the passing of John Shea. She notified us in late 2017 that she would be leaving the practice of law, taking an administrative position with another town, but would not leave us high and dry, so she is still here with us advising us, but I suspect that this may be her last meeting. And I want to thank you for your service and for your willingness to hang with us during this transition.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.
We have interviewed the two applicants. Mr. McLeod and Mr. Pounds will be the final two applicants that we're interviewing. Council is going into closed session following this meeting to make a decision about the position, and all the candidates will be notified tomorrow of the council's decision. So, well, we have, I guess, Charles, you're listed first here. So why don't you come up, please, if you would, and address the town council.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. And Karen, so good to see you again. I want to introduce one of my partners, Patrick Thomas. And I introduce Patrick because in submitting our proposal to the town, we really approach these engagements as a team. And I'll explain that a little bit in how we go about representing our municipal clients. And I will respect your time. We appreciate the opportunity to be here. My name is Chip McLeod. I've been practicing law close to 20 years. I started a little bit late. Before I went to law school, I was actually serving as the county administrator for Kent County on the Eastern Shore. And I mention that because all of my endeavors since college have really been somehow related to local government, whether it was in the newspaper business covering local government. I worked for the Maryland Association of Counties for about 3 years. As I mentioned, a county administrator, and then I went to law school at night. And since then, I've been practicing predominantly work on behalf of local governments throughout the state of Maryland. That part of my practice in real estate really encompasses what I do. As Karen can attest, for about 18 years, I was with the firm Funk & Bolton. Some of you may know Funk & Bolton, well known around the state for what they do for local government, and in particular bond counsel work. Just within the past year, last February, I was fortunate enough to be able to start my own firm, McLeod Law Group, and carry on the same practice. And that was a very amicable transition, but I just continued with the same practice of representing local governments. So whenever we see an opportunity to serve as counsel to a Maryland municipality, we're very interested. There is, and I'll just put this right out there, there's always the issue of distance, right? I mean, my main office is in Chestertown on the Eastern Shore. We have an office in Denton, but we represent local governments around the state. For example, Patrick does quite a bit of work for the town of Leonardtown. And again, we're wherever we need to be. So I will just say this, I mean, as far as qualifications to represent a municipal government in Maryland, I think we have that. I mean, everything from Open Meetings Act, Public Information Act, writing legislation, contracts, code enforcement, land use. I mean, we've really seen it all. I think the intangibles are how you traditionally operate, the role of your attorney and how you function. Is it vitally important that your attorney be close by at every single meeting or close to department heads physically? We can't promise that. What we can do is provide all your legal services, that may come in front of you. We're confident about that, and we think we can work out the fact of having to be at meetings. My understanding is there is a preference to have your attorney at your council meetings. That's something we will certainly be able to do. But there are some local governments that just like having their attorneys really close by, right? We're not going to overpromise, but we can't, we can't deliver. So I really, and we did submit a proposal. It was quite lengthy, but if you have a chance to look at that, I think you'll see it reflects our experience and what we can offer to the town. And I will also point this out driving over. I was thinking how, Rock Hall. I was thinking of some of the other towns we represent. As town attorney. Rock Hall, we've been representing the town of Rock Hall, I think, for 20 years. I think I was appointed in 1999. Very similar type of municipality, given its proximity to the water. The town of St. Michael's is another client of ours who we represent and have for many years. And I think of the waterfront communities and some of the issues that confront that wouldn't be found in some of the other municipalities around the state that don't have the luxury of being on the water. So we have that familiarity as well. And with that, I'll see if Patrick has anything to add, but again, our proposal is in front of you, and we are willing to be flexible. I will also mention this, in our proposal, we're willing to discuss any arrangement as far as how you all prefer to do fees and things like that. I mean, with all the different clients we have, we've done it on retainer basis, flat hourly rate basis. We will do fee caps for special projects. It all depends. And I will also offer this. If a decision is made where there's a strong preference to have a local attorney, somebody who lives in your community, we fully understand that. Even that person may need to avail themselves to outside counsel for issues that come up that they may not be familiar with, they may have a conflict. We're available for that as well. More of the local governments we represent, we actually serve as a backstop. Get a call from a county attorney or a city attorney, hey, can you help us with this? We don't represent the city all the time, but we do both. So I just want to mention that as well. And I'm happy to answer questions. I'm sorry I took your time.
No, just, I won't repeat much of what Chip said, other than my own personal experience. I've
been practicing for 13 years. In Tyler to Chip, first to Funkin Bolton, now McLeod Law Group. When I started, I'd say local government was about 50% of my practice, and now it's about 90% of what I do, almost entirely with municipalities. So, as Chip said, both of us are very familiar with all the issues that come before municipalities, and I'm sure they come before you, and I think we're well equipped to serve you. And if you have any questions about any of our qualifications or practice areas or specific issues you might have, we're certainly happy to answer.
Thank you, Patrick. Nice presentation, Chip. Chip reminded me when I called him that we had met some time ago, I guess when you were working with Mako, right?
Yeah, I remember, when we did talk, I remembered that you were involved in Mako at that time, as a Calvert County Commissioner. I don't want to date ourselves too much, but that was quite some time ago.
So are there any attorneys in the state that haven't worked for Funkin Bolton?
The two local government, I don't know, Karen, come on, we spent a lot of time trying to make sure we stood out as the group.
Is that on your resume?
We did, it is an interesting, there's a brotherhood and sisterhood of attorneys in the state that do represent local government, and Jason, our paths cross all the time, and it is an interesting niche. Lawyers aren't supposed to say they specialize in anything, but the fact of the matter is, it is unique law. It's very interesting because every day you don't know what you're going to be confronted with from a municipal client. The part of it I really enjoy is the sort of political intangibles or the personality of the local governing body. The law is the law. The Public Information Act, Open Meetings Act, you keep up with all that. The fascinating part of local government is the governing body and the personality of the governing body and how they arrive at decisions and things like that. And and the attorney is there to help implement what has to be done. I will admit, being a former county administrator, I always have to remember when I'm listening to a debate or whatever. Sometimes the administrator hat, what would be the most efficient way to do it? And then I remember, wait a minute, just the law. What's the law, right? So.
One question, how many towns do you represent at this moment?
As the town attorney, there's probably a half a dozen of the city of Cambridge, and I should mention that we're proud of that engagement. The city of Cambridge is a relatively large municipality on the eastern shore, about 11,000. So we represent the city of Cambridge, the town of St. Michael's, the town of Rock Hall, the town of Ridgely,
Town of Barkley,
town of Barclay.
Town of
And Leonardtown, we do quite a bit of work for Leonardtown. We're not the designated town attorney, at least I don't think.
No, we're not designated town attorney, but we do a fair amount of the people work.
And then beyond that are the local governments that we're on, I don't know what to say, on call. They call us often to just provide advice on discrete matters or some topic, like I said, where the town's county attorney might either have a conflict or might not just be up to speed on something. So.
I have a question for our 2 meetings a month. Would it be you, Patrick, always, or it would be either one? How would that work? Would one person be designated?
We would work that out, and we'd also want to hear from the client as well about that, if there's a preference. We are always juggling these night obligations. One thing about this practice is you do commit to having to be certain places in the evening. So we always have to look at that. In fact, when this opportunity first came up, the first thing we zeroed in on is what is their standard meeting night, and are we already kind of locked in with another local government? And we didn't see that. In fact, the one thing that popped right up is our Kent County Bar Association meeting night, but that doesn't take priority over clients. So we would kind of work through that and decide how we want to handle that.
Well, I think this council would require, Chip, that you be at the council meetings.
Right.
We're accustomed to that. That's the second Thursday of the month.
Right.
We have work sessions on an as-needed basis on the first Thursday, probably half of the months of the year. And we like to have representation at those, although depending on the agenda, it may or may not be necessary.
And occasionally planning and zoning and Board of Appeals, sometimes for that.
Board of Appeals meetings are fairly rare, depending on the subject matter.
Understood. So the town attorney also does the representation of your boards and agencies as well, okay, okay. Well, we would, certainly, we're here saying we're available and we're willing to serve, and we will, we will commit to that if that's part of the arrangement.
Any other questions? Thank you, Chip.
Oh, thank you very much for the opportunity, we appreciate it.
Patrick.
Good to see you, Karen.
Todd?
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, good evening. My name is Todd Pounds, and really want to thank you for the opportunity to allowing us to address you this evening. With me tonight is Jason DeLoach, also with our firm. Basically, I'm with the law offices of Alexander and Cleaver. It's a shame, again, I want to just pay tribute to John Shea, who was an old friend of mine, knew him for many, many years, and, it's certainly sad at his passing at way too young of age. But again, I'm Todd Pounds, and I've been practicing for almost 30 years, 20 years doing municipal work. Jason DeLoach would be the night, has been practicing almost 20 years, and 15 years doing municipal work. Our firm has been established and ongoing for approximately 40 years, and the core people in our firm have been around for decades. Our firm is primarily run by Jim Cleaver of Alexander and Cleaver. Gary Alexander is part-time, he's part-time retired, but even he is still around, working part-time for the firm after many years. Jason and I will be doing all of the work for the town, and it'll primarily be me as taking the lead unless I have something that I am unavailable, or something that indeed an issue comes up which is more in his bailiwick, if you will, as to what he has been doing over the years. We've been proud to represent 5 other municipalities, and including Morningside, Brentwood, Fairmont Heights, Seat Pleasant, and Greenbelt. Our government relations part of our firm is also represented Gaithersburg and Tacoma Park, and Jason is presently the counsel for the Prince George's Municipal Association. Throughout the various work that we've done for all of our towns, we're familiar with really all of the aspects that really a municipality and the issues that come for you. Between the two of us, there are not many issues that we have not handled or been confronted with. We've handled legislative items, contract items, regulatory compliance, dealing with law enforcement, zoning matters, easement matters, litigation, election matters, dealing with human relations and personnel matters, dealing with issues with regard to the LEOVR and police matters. We've done legislative drafting, code enforcement, annexation, and also de-annexation of various issues with the town. We've also, over the years, represented a number of different politicians with regard to ethics violations, so we're familiar with how to keep politicians and so forth on the right track to make sure there's compliance in that way. Jason and I have also represented numerous corporations doing business and corporate work over the years, which directly relate to many issues that municipalities have. And also, we have been recognized by Legit to represent Legit as far as insurance companies, if indeed towns have been sued, and we also have been asked to provide defense for towns in those types of matters, with Legit being the ones who actually are providing the insurance with regard to the case. We've done numerous zoning and land use issues for many jurisdictions across the state. And also, we've also done cases, been before the Board of Appeals, dealing with hardship issues with regard to issues of variance, and also various planning commissions throughout the state. And we could easily transition to being the counsel for those commissions, since we've handled many of the cases before those commissions anyway. So we're very familiar with the agencies, and we certainly can provide assistance to them. We're also very familiar with the unique aspects of the town, since it is right on the bay. Obviously, all of the town has unique environmental issues, and we dealt with the Maryland Department of Environment, and also dealing with issues with regard to the Corps of Engineers for any development that may occur in the case. One of the things dealing with the Corps, obviously, they are an animal in and of itself. So one of the primary issues that we've always used in dealing with the Corps of Engineers is try to get them to defer to the Maryland Department of Environment for making the decision and having the department, in essence, make the decision on behalf of the Corps, which we've always been very successful in doing that. So, so we do have a separate government relations arm with the firm. One of the advantages of that we've found over the years is that it tends to help us get a toe or a foot in the door in dealing with other administrative issues that may occur. We're very familiar with the courthouse personnel if that ever occurs in this case also. So with the two of us, we believe that we are fully capable in addressing pretty much any issues that would come up before the town that we haven't already seen and being familiar with. It will be primarily me who will be attending the town, and if indeed Jason would step in, if indeed I had a conflict or for some reason was unavailable to attend, but I can assure you it would be me who you'd be looking at. Thursday nights are great for me, so they're very convenient for me in handling those types of matters. Personally, I grew up in Brandywine. I've been in this county in the area for many, many years. I really enjoyed seeing really what North Beach has become over the last 20 years, 25 years, and all the development that you've done, everything that you've done to really make it turn it into what it is today. On a personal matter, I've been here many times. I've been on the pier many times, and and one of the things I've always enjoyed is my kids, as they were growing up, used to come to the beach, okay, and look for shark's teeth, okay, little kids, doing that, which they've done over the years, and I was always amazed when every time I came that even after all the years, after all the people like me, you always find 3, 4, 5 of those little shark's teeth on the beach. And so it's somebody that, we are familiar with the area. We have handled numerous issues with regard to, towns. You're primarily looking at me, and yet if something happens where I do have a conflict or I am available, we have someone who has a tremendous amount of experience being able to, step in for me, be able to, assist you, make sure you are not, in any way without the town council immediately. So we're certainly available to answer your questions, and I'm here to respond.
Thank you, Todd. That was a very nice presentation. Council, any questions of Todd?
Where are you primarily located?
We have 2 offices, primary offices in Fort Washington and Annapolis. And so basically, I'm primarily at the Fort Washington office, but I'm always at the Annapolis office, and I live in Edgewood. So it really it's short drive for me here, and that's where we primarily. Then we have branch offices in Cumberland, Alexandria, La Plata, and the branch offices are just to make it easier on clients to come see us. Okay, so.
You also have an office in Rockville.
Rockville too, I'm sorry. I'm rarely Rockville.
Your firm has a reputation for throwing pretty good parties in January. Is that,
if we could be a lobbyist,
firm?
if we could be a lobbyist, I mean, Jason, the funny thing I say, Jason and I work for a living. Someday, we're not part of the lobbying firm, we actually work.
We also throw a good party at Mako.
And I apologize, one of the things is, you never see me, those things, Jason primarily at our firm attends, those functions because I'm the guy stuck minding the store. So,
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
thank you for the opportunity.
Thank all of you. Thank you for your time and your interest in the position.
Thank you very much, have a good day.
Ron, you give me the report, Lieutenant?
Chip?
Happy New Year, everyone. Yeah, it's a good thing. We were doing significantly over last year. We had 83 calls for service December compared to 193 last year.
That's account Patrick Thomas.
Couple non-fatal assault arrests. And we attached kind of a little second arrest notes in here. If you have any questions.
Hey, good seeing you, bud.
Well, I've done more. I love
Vicky, how about I email you?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just curious to see.
Okay, yeah, I can email you the exact address.
Yeah, the central present was forthcoming from the
Yes, sir, that comes from town, yes, sir.
So they may not have been in North.
Everything that happened, the two overdoses we're speaking about this month are pretty regular primers we're having in North Beach. Okay. But, everything is on that, that's through November.
Right.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Narcan. Someone does not want it, if you still do it?
Well, they don't, usually when we have to administer Narcan, they're not in the state of mind to accept it or reject it.
The only reason I asked that question was, I was happened to be in an emergency room, as you all know, and somebody came in like that, and the nurse, I heard the nurse saying, they're refusing Narcan. And I thought,
Aren't you always out when you get there?
Yeah, they don't administer Narcan to a conscious person. They're usually unconscious and not breathing when we administer Narcan. Usually, what the sheriff's office policy is we've consulted with our state's attorney, and we're taking these people down to the hospital for emergency evaluations due to the fact that they're constantly injecting heroin into their systems and going unconscious and a lot of times encountering near-death encounters. So we take them down to what they call an emergency evaluation to see a psychiatrist and see alternative help there. And they can refuse that help at the hospital, but they probably were saying he has received Narcan and he's refusing.
okay.
Is that it for Lieutenant Norton? Thank you, Norm.
Thank you.
Joanne, please, your report.
For the reporting period of November 1st through November 30th, the beginning balance in the general fund was $1,546,000. Total debits was $411,000, and total credits was $1,408,000. Ending balance at the end of November was $550,000. Investments in MLGIP General were $3,842,000. MLGIP Sewer Capital was $34,000, and Water Capital was $7,000. Total cash available to the town of North Beach was $4,434,000. For the same period last year was $4,288,000. We received for state business license 0 revenue for November of 17 and for last year of November 2016. Hotel tax was $973.63 for November of 2017, and for November of 2016 it was $899.07.
All right, council, you see the breakdown of the receipts and disbursements, over $7,500. Any questions there, Joanne? I can have a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you, Joanne.
You're welcome.
Don?
Good evening, everyone. It's not on my list, but 75% this month, we're trying to stay warm. That's the bulk of the operation. But,
Aren't you glad that you didn't have to work out of that previous public works bill?
Right. We worked better
That
for a
was
while, this year would have been rough.
That would have been something.
You're not gonna start recapping that heat, right? Yeah, that was much nicer, right about that. But, first item here, we finished the exterior on the t-shirt building located at Souvenir Shack, located on the boardwalk. We're pricing the county available for the front now, and working on the interior layout and design to finish that up, so we went for spring. We're working with Mr. Woodburn on the design and replacing the current workstation. That station is about 30 years old. It's in pretty bad shape, with the chlorine, water, and moisture damage over the years. Starting to eat away at the electrical components and the piping and everything else. So we're looking at, building a new building there, new controls. Friday night, we actually had electrical outage, just a blip, and that caused the heat to go up. And that building actually froze up the controls of the tower. So that probably could have been avoided. Today, actually put heat sensors in there, so that happens again without counting stuff. I'm also working with Paul and town staff to come up with a budget and plan for replacing existing water meters and meter vaults. We had a few problems, as we talked about before in previous meetings, about the meter vault himself failing. We've got about 8 so far, and we also have about 100 and some meters that aren't reading. They're older meters, and since probably 1990, they're not reading correctly, so we're looking at replacing them in the vaults. And come up with any plan for that for the budget. We had a pretty bad water main break on Sunday. I appreciate the council coming out after the council without looking at it. It's all firsthand. It was nice for them to get out and see that. In San Francisco, it's kind of surprising because it's such a new subdivision up there. But we had one of the service saddles actually cracked and broke on the main line serving Bedford Court. We got a call from residents about 2 o'clock, the water was coming out of the ground. We went up, checked it out. It was a pretty significant amount of water. We called BG&E. They could wait probably 3 hours for them to show up before you dig. That's what kind of took the bulk of the time, actually, from the time to go to the time to show up to do the locate. Once they located, water was coming up in about 100-foot radius, so they could drill some holes in the pavement. Unfortunately, up there, everything's in the pavement under concrete, so it was coming up all over. We drilled some holes, went uphill, we found it coming up 20 feet upstream from where the actual leak was at. It's kind of unusual. We usually go out and find the lowest point, you start working up, you find the highest point, that's where the leak's going to be. There was so much water in the ground so hard, it was running uphill, which I've never really seen it run uphill.
Well, I commend you.
Yeah, we found
You and your crew for solving that problem. That was a nasty break at a very nasty time.
that was about.
I mean, I think you really to be commended.
I appreciate it. We had a little bit of help from Walls Plumbing show up, so that was nice. A few guys showed up for them. But it was kind of, when we cut the water off to fix the main, it was so cold that night, it was ice. And a couple of guys from Walls Plumbing actually slipped on and fell in the hole, so it was kind of pretty rough, yeah.
Tough job.
Yeah, it was tough. But luckily, the water was only off for about 4 hours, I think, maybe 3 hours total, so.
Yeah, well, when I got a hold of them up there, I kind of wanted to make us look, you guys look like geniuses, so I kind of added a couple of hours at the time, so you got to try it in 2.5 hours sooner than I told them.
We weren't really worried about that, we just worried about getting it done, getting out there. But anyway, it worked out, and the bad thing, I made some calls today, because I was kind of concerned that it happened already up there. That project's only about 10 years old, and we shouldn't want to get out in that type of situation. It could be a defect in one of the cells at the phone, but it's just kind of, I hope it's not a sign of things coming. I called a contractor, I'm getting him to come out tomorrow, just to look at the cell, do some things, maybe, and then also called the sales rep, I haven't taken a look at this. Those houses up there, the reason there's so much water, it's 2 townhouses, and they're on an 1.5 line, so when that 1.5 line breaks, you get a lot of water. And the cells are larger, but still they should have made, that was before I started, and, exactly.
Did John Rice do the work?
John Rice did do the work, I called him today, talked to him, I'm gonna get hold of one of those superintendent, John Bowen, as a superintendent, I want him to come out tomorrow, and just kind of take a look and, to alleviate, that might have been, maybe hopefully it's just a manufactured defect in that cell, but I don't like to see that this early. That was one place I wasn't really worried about anything at, and that was the place now, so.
Did you figure out why the shop valves weren't?
We went back up today, and I'm also going to ask him, and John, that system has a loop, but we cut the main by off even coming over the bridge here. It's still good to go out and bring it around and cut everything off. So I'm also going to ask John, that's why I want to come up and kind of run that system and see. Sometimes the valves get like iron buildup in the bottom, and you're going to close them, but that system being that new shouldn't have that problem. But,
So that would, maybe you guys trying to get the water.
yeah, I kind of want to run through everything, and just double check and see what's what. I don't want to issue right in case it happens. But, yeah, actually the neighborhood there was really, quite understanding that night.
Yeah,
We didn't have many complaints from residents from coming out, they were all, that, I called Dawn, she put up glass, and that worked well, and we're also working on, if you don't know, we're working on a text system, which Mike can talk about, so we can notify them if something like that happens, we can text or email, if you don't want to email that way, at least get the text, so. Like a reverse 911, we find out where it happens, and call everybody affected, so. But everybody's pretty, like I said, pretty understanding, that night was pretty good.
Good job, man.
Thank you. We also handled about, the cold weather, we handled about 15 or 20 responses to snow water, and most of those were
crawl spaces, pipes under the house that he froze. There was two that we found that were, had broken today, when we finally warmed up, followed out, and water was running out from under the crawl spaces, so almost every call we went out to. We keep saying this over and over, we don't put out some meeting up last, but everyone went to the crawl space, vents are wide open, we went to one, and it was an old pump house on the rear of the house, the pump house door was sitting wide open, and there was one right there, so it's kind of, if anything was, not really, but, I guess people be busy on things like that, so. Unfortunately, we have a list of problems where on the homeowner side. We had minor snow event, which it was cold, but it made it a little worse, but it was 100 inches of snow. But we plowed, I put out a lot of salt, put out about 1 foot of salt off the town. That snow wasn't that bad because it didn't come out, it was just the cold weather, a little worse. Takes us about 2 days to clean up the equipment after we salt like that. That's almost more trouble than putting the salt out. Just cleaning up the equipment afterwards. Something I didn't put in my report, and we've been working on a little bit since it's been so cold, is we're starting to look at all the houses that are outside of town, and looking at the agreement we have with the county, and kind of doing a count, and trying to get to make sure that they're paying their fair share for our sewer system. We talked about it before, a while back, but now, since it's cold, it's a good time to start looking at stuff like that, and we look. Actually, we go up there and pull up Google Earth, and, there's a lot of houses have been built since that agreement was made. We want to make sure we pay our fair share for what's going to be Greenwood Avenue Pump Station. And then also there's suggested Avenue Pump Station. So we kind of just want to double check that. I'm getting with Paul and start to look at, things like that. And February continues to be cold.
I know 20 years.
Yeah.
20 or so years ago, we were wrong when I went out to county those and gave them half the county, and it was way off. They didn't know, I'm gonna say, they didn't have records for half the houses being in the sewer out there.
Me and Paul even been talking about looking at flow meters that we can install right at Green Avenue and Mantle. I'm not saying it's wrong, but we want to make sure, because those stations get old also. We just want to make sure. And I think that agreement was made probably 1996 or something in that area, whatever, it's a while back. So.
Yeah, there's a flow meter at Greenwood, sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, we can put a flow meter in there, and then we have a pipe that comes just from the county, and not counting what's coming from our side, so we can put a flow meter in that. And they're getting better and better. They used to have flow meters weren't really that good in gravity sewers a while back, but they get better with them now. I think they have one over Chesapeake Beach has been working on it.
We have one just south of Neptune's and like a first main hole in the lot.
Right, catching anything coming from also.
We
can try to put that and then keep the percentage and make sure they're close in.
Yeah, that one, Neptune's would catch everything from the town.
Gets everything coming out of here.
From what's in
And
the plant.
coming down the hill, too, so,
Right.
we could play with some numbers.
Yeah, that'd be good, like I said, go look at it, like I said, those are cool. I've been doing some training with the guys, me and Joanne talked a little bit today. I want to get them more, better about putting tags on doors. We get a lot of, calls, no word or whatever. We're out, homeowners going home, we don't have a number, so we want to just make sure they can tag and contact down home. Just go over the press and stuff like that for the cold weather stuff. I did attend a bunch of classes. I had to renew my wastewater and water license in January, so I attended a bunch of classes. That's pretty good.
You could probably
Do
teach
3 more years.
Exactly.
Teach. Yeah,
I just wanted to, and Mark already mentioned it, the Sunday, if any of you here remember, was just a miserably cold day. And I went up for a little while and I said, I'm going home because it's too cold. Our public works crew out, and they were up there 4 or 5, 6 hours, and got the water on. And quite honestly, when I went up there was so much water coming up. I thought the main line had broken. There was just so much water, just everywhere, running down and freezing, and down and run 5 feet and it would be freezing. It was so cold.
terrible condition.
And they stayed there, walls came in, 50 walls came in with these guys. And, I quite honestly, getting it fixed in the amount of time that it took was amazing to me.
We're trying to get out of there, so.
Well,
Highly motivated.
well, like I said, I went up and did my supervisor thing, and then I went home.
But the worst part about, you can't blame the water main breaking, it's always always seems like it's, you know, a bad time, but we got notified in 2 o'clock. But BG&E has one guy for this area on call, so when you call them and utility locate, you're supposed to be responsible for an hour.
It was
And
2
didn't show up
hours.
until like 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it was
All
2
those
hours.
two, so, you know, we're sitting there trying to do some stuff, but they want us to get online and you're liable for $10,000 or whatever repairs, so we kind of got to wait. But he was, you know, same thing, they were just, I'm sure, they, up in BG, my brother works for WSSC, and they had 101 working for it, so we kind of, but they got a lot of old cycles, so they have some 50 years old and stuff, so all in all, we kind of not the whole way, but it's only just the beginning.
Yeah,
Winter, so it scares me.
We're very early in the winter.
Okay, done.
Donnie, did we, getting back to the contract with the crosswalk, it didn't fare very well.
What we did, what's that, I'm sorry?
You look at the transverse lines, they're pretty chopped up, I assume, it's plowing and having.
We didn't pay him. No, we paid him for the, we paid him for the red alley, we held back even 10% on that. They billed for full amount. They did come out, early, right before it got really cold, and tried to use some patch jobs, and I think we weren't accepting that. Talked to the mayor about, kind of emailed him and said, you know, this is acceptable from all the meetings, and, you know, stuff they said in the meetings in here, and we weren't very happy with that. So, what we kind of agreed to, because they wanted to come out and try to carry the patch, I said, no, we're not doing that. Let the salt and snow winter months go, and we'll see how they hold up, and then they'll come back in spring and fix. But we didn't pay them at all for the first line. And we have like 10% of the red, we did pay for the red, because that looked like that was, you know, a lot better.
Yeah,
They
it's
put,
what issue with that, but the transverse lines.
right, he wrote a long,
They come back in the spring, we're going to insist that they just take it up.
right,
But you stripes now, not patch.
trying to do like a 2-page email explanation, where we're like, man, we heard enough in the meeting, we're not accepting it, it's not accepting it.
We're not talking about the ones in the crosswalk themselves.
No, the white, yeah, borderline,
Yeah.
on each
It's
side.
outlined.
I figured this one would be a good testimony, and then we could really fix them all if we needed or whatever.
Let me expand a little bit on Donnie's report on the meters and vaults. Staff, me, Paul, and Donnie, and Joanne, are putting together a strategy that will get us to eventually replace all of the meters and vaults using low-interest loans that are available for that. But these are sizable expenses. You can't just say, well, let's go and fix them all, because it's too expensive. But we will develop a plan that will eventually get them all replaced. And it says there, some of them are not reading. People are not getting water for nothing, they're paying the minimum. They're paying at least the minimum.
You know, and keep in
Rough
mind,
numbers, not in rough numbers are like 1,500 to 2,000 piece to replace the vault and the meter and everything. So that's, we have 500 and probably, we have some of them, we have 900 customers roughly, but some of them are double vaults, so that's why we have like 600 vaults in the property, so that's what we're looking
How
at.
much is it?
And they can be up to 2,000 if you go to every sidewalk. So, you know, if you're in the sidewalk itself, by the time you buy the porch, you need to take the old meter out, get both houses back in. We're gonna upgrade to new styles, we don't have to worry about. So
They'll be presenting a plan to us to do so many a year until it's all done.
Try to start it out, right.
I don't know how many of the original meters we have, but they're at the end of their lifespan. They're 25. Yeah, 25 or 26. Anyway.
Okay, Paul?
Happy New Year. Yeah, my report, I'm not going to delay what we've already gone over with Donnie's report. I just wanted to bring your attention to a couple things. On the first page, the beach dredge, get the Board of Public Works permit, and you're taking care of that, getting that signed. So I filed for the grading permit today with that, and we'll be up to bid in the next month. We're time restricted, so we'll start March 1st is our anticipated date, get bids in, and that goes.
And this is going to be for both sides.
Correct, both sides. Pier Pavilion, we've gotten some preliminary architectural plans, made some comments, Donnie and I have gone over them there, and I think we're going to get something move further along a little bit and have it for you guys to see next month.
Yeah, council will have to look at it at the work session in February
Okay, works out.
and weigh in on the design.
Okay. Let's see here. The library site, I mean, that continues to go on. We have meetings coming up. This is down at Fifth and Bay. I think they're very interested in the site there. Called me a couple times, and we met with the mayor. So it was promising.
You may want to say, it says Fifth and Bay, but the actual building location that we're looking at, the building would be on the Chesapeake Avenue
Right,
side.
yeah.
So just, I think, there's, just,
Yeah.
that'd be good to put that, just because I think there's some question.
Confusion.
Yeah, question, people going, wait a second, where's it actually the building if it happens?
Yeah, the proposed.
Right,
Yeah.
proposed at Fifth and Chesapeake.
Okay, any questions of Paul? Okay, let's see. Where is, oh, there it is. I didn't know it wasn't here.
It's quiet.
Okay.
Money or late, it's quiet. Basically, just like I did last year, not a real report for December, just kind of ran over the totals, so we could see where we were from this year to last year. Category of cars, boats, trailers, those kind of things that we have issues with. So we had 4 more this year that we had removed or brought into compliance than we did last year. Still looking to try and arrange for some sort of a towing contract with a towing contractor, which is still becoming exceedingly difficult. The sheriff is trying to help us with that. Door tags were up again as well this year, 159 and 174 this year. Business inspections were down, but only because some weren't due because of when we did them. Rental inspections, we were way up. That was due to first time going into Burn Oaks, and we did all of the senior center and all of the condominiums in the back. We inspected every single one, not just a random handful. So we inspected the whole buildings.
That's amazing. That's a lot.
Zoning permits were up this year. Letters sent out for our compliance actually were exactly the same, 127. Yeah. Abatements performed were actually down, although I think that number could be off because several of the abatements we had were with the same property. So where one property may have had 3 or 4 abatements, it's only listed on 3 or 4 times. We do have the new code software and rental software up and running. There are still some issues that we're trying to work through, basically with the GIS part of things. The information we're getting from the state goes from the state to the county, and the county does what they need to do to make it work for them, and then they send it out to the software company, and they have to do something. So we're losing something in between the translation between all 3 software products. But the county and the software company are working to fix that. We all know I took over the zoning duties. The abandoned properties we have reduced down to just 2. I spoke with USDA today. They are finalizing what's called their net recovery value form. They have gotten their, it's called, they did get the inspection done on the property, so they have what their inspection says the property is worth, and that USDA has some process that they do to come up with this value, and if the value is below a certain threshold because of what's on the property, then they'll release the property to the town and just walk away from it.
Is that one over 9th?
8th Street.
Is this a,
Yes.
but we still don't have a decision?
No, she said if it's not done by Wednesday, her suggestion was file in court. That was the lady, Susan Sarko from USDA.
This is a never-ending process.
Unfortunately, I have a feeling it's just like dealing with any other
Like
large
dealing with
government. Yeah. And she, like today, she apologized about 6 times saying, you know, I've pushed from my end as much as I can, trying to get it done. She said that if it's not done by next Wednesday, I would recommend that your attorney go ahead and file.
There's no accountability up there. So what can we do?
Well, we could file an action in court. The reason we had put that off was because if you recall, the property was an asset of an estate. The property owner had died. The value of the property was appraised at less than what was owed on it, there was a motion filed by the personal representative to remove the asset from the estate. So the estate, the asset was never probated, it never went through the whole process.
This is that one that just kind of got lost, and every step of the way, somebody did something that they've never done. Literally, nobody owns the property. Like, it's
Well,
kind of.
incredibly, usually when you go through the estate process and that you probate the will and you go through the whole thing, at the end, you end up with all the assets being sold or distributed to somebody. But since it was removed from the process, you're stuck.
It's just,
And I've had conversations with the attorney, there were two attorneys in that case. I've had conversations with the attorneys. I've had conversations with USDA because my thought was, if nobody's gonna own it, nobody's gonna claim it, nobody wanted it, then they're the only ones with an interest in it because they have the mortgage on it. And if they'll give it up and turn their interest over to us, then it saves us money and time in the long run. Absent them being in a position to do that at this point, then we can just file something with the court. We have the names of all the heirs. We would have to name them as interested parties. We'd have to give them an opportunity, notice of everything, which is why we were trying to.
yeah, to wait, because then it basically just starts that whole process over. Even though they've already been removed from the estate and everything else, if we name them, then I mean, you're talking another year.
Like USDA has the mortgage
Has
on
the
the property.
mortgage.
They have two mortgages
Two,
on it.
yeah.
So why wouldn't they just put it up for sale
Well,
like
they
any other
haven't
bank owns?
foreclosed on it, I don't.
I think there's about a $60,000, it's probably $60,000 upside down, maybe more, on a 25 by 100 foot lot. The lot's probably only worth $65,000, I think 148,000 is owed on
They would
it.
just auction or sell it and take a loss.
If it was gonna take a loss.
The
Well, you would
USDA.
take the loss,
I
but,
mean,
It's a condemned home.
yeah, I mean, the house is not fixable.
I mean, so in the meantime, the town has this, not just an eyesore, but a hazardous, you
Right.
know, homeless people and drug users use these kinds of.
Well, we check, I mean, it's fairly secure, we're making sure it stays that way, but
We can't do anything about it.
it's,
so what is USDA telling you? That they're-
they have had the house appraised. And now they're working on what's called their net recovery value, and they have a process to determine whether that's feasible for them to say, okay, do what you need to do and we'll pay you, and then they sell the property and take whatever loss they think they're gonna take, or just walk away from it entirely.
And what are they supposed to tell you and everything else? They can't tell you when they're having this?
No,
Well, they were
they-
supposed to have an answer back in November.
Several times, they said, we'll have the answer tonight.
Right, they've been kicking this can down the road. Something happened whereby the first time it wasn't appraised in a timely fashion. They had to go back to the appraiser.
Well, they actually went with a new appraiser, now they hired a different company to come out, that, they did it. And so the lady Susan Stark was actually, she's been helpful, I mean, she's like, I understand that, you know, you probably have people that are pressing you, she goes, and I'm pressing the people that I need to try and get this done, she said, unfortunately, she was, it's just, and she admitted it, between having the ball dropped and people being lazy and just the time it takes to get government work done, it's, I apologize, that was her email. So, I mean, I literally email her every day.
Well, we can't switch tactics here now and think up a tack that's gonna take us another year, you know.
That's why I say I press them on a daily by, I mean, even when I was off last week sick, I emailed her 3 times. You know, so I'm in contact with them, with specifically this lady who is now in charge of that program. So, and as soon as that they can get it done, then we'll know, but I don't see where we have another option, but I don't think it helps us.
Now, it sounds like we're almost at the end of their process again. I know
This is,
it's not-
what they're doing now is the end of their process.
Yeah.
I mean, once they get that value, and it says, it's basically a yes or no. They get the value, they say, no, it's not worth it for us. They basically walk away from it. If they get a value that says, yes, it is worth it for us, then we work on how we fix the property. So, I mean, it's as close as we're gonna get until they can make the determination, I
We
think.
can wait a little bit longer.
All right, we've talked enough about this.
I just have one question, Rick. On the, when you were talking about the abandoned properties, and the properties reduced to 2, all others have been re-added and sold, or are
supposed to be on, that's probably
They're
just a
off.
typo, yeah.
I just wondered if they were not for sale.
No, they're on the market and listed for sale.
Okay.
And this is one of those two abandoned,
This is one of them, yeah.
and the other one's a similar kind of situation?
No, the other one, we know who owns it, they work on it just barely enough to make things work. But it's better than the 8 or 9 we had to start with. So we fixed 7 of them over the last year. So,
Okay, any other questions of Rick? Thank you, Rick. Good. Great job.
Thanks, sir.
Great report. John?
Hello.
Hello.
I think the last meeting we talked about some of the things that did at the beginning of December, with Christmas and all that. So for the rest of the month, I finally got the link and information finalized on our website for the electric vehicle charging station with general information, the address, pricing, and a link to the charge point site so people could link up to that and get their card or however they get to pay for when they use the station. And just this week, we discussed adding the actual address to the parking lot and a rider to put on the sign that says electric vehicle charging, kind of advertise a little bit more. New Year's Eve party on the pier, I worked on the final details of that along with Stacy and other town staff. We shot form, prepared all the table decorations, decorated the day of the event, and of course attended the event. Polar Bear Plunge. This year we acquired 25 sponsors for the event. I worked with the t-shirt company on completing the logo layout for the shirt, the sponsor banner, created the personalized certificates that all of the pre-registered plungers get. Attended the event, distributed shirts and certificates, photographs, and we had 147 plungers this year. We were a little bit down, but I think it's because the bay was partially covered in ice.
That's one way to put it.
All right, 2 council
Two
members.
crazy guys up there did it.
Yeah, Councilman Randy,
No, Randy, no, Randy did not. Randy did
Randy
not.
stood next to
And
you
like that?
and Paul and myself
Jane, did you
on
go ahead?
here.
Well, actually, I was standing up there freezing.
I know,
Thing up there.
I was.
Looking down there, yeah.
Hurry up, hurry
The
up.
last thing that my mind had occurred would be to take your clothes off and jump in the water.
They did it.
They did it. Boy,
Once you got
I-
in, you sort of went, no.
Yeah.
The water was 23 degrees.
I think you had to be numb to even go in.
That's a nice word, that's a nice word.
Yes. I was being kind, come on.
Okay, moving on.
Ray seemed to be like that, okay?
Really?
He's braver than me, right?
Tell us about these text notifications.
Okay, the text notifications, we've kind of been talking back and forth about that. It's another way we can communicate with our residents, or whoever chooses to subscribe to it. You can opt in, opt out. We send an email blast now, but some people don't read emails. They read their text quicker. Perfect example is the other day with the water main break, we could have sent that out along with the email blast. But so that process, all the documents are signed, and right now we just wait to hear back from them to implement, and they tell us what they need from us, and they design and set up everything, and then we. So hopefully, maybe tomorrow I'll have a time frame for that.
That's a good move.
Yeah.
People read their text. I mean, email can stay buried for a couple hours, even a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm one of the least tech savvy people that are, but I know, I read my text.
Quicker than email.
Yeah.
Yeah. I figured that out.
You found that I didn't read mine, but
Yeah, but everybody does, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. This is a good move, John.
Let's see. We were working on this storyboard. It kind of sat at my desk for longer than I would like to admit, but it's the Picturing the Past storyboard. I don't know if Norma Jean had anything to do with that a few years ago or what, but Grace Mary has contributed some to it. We were waiting on a picture and some details, but that I think will be finalized and sent off to be created. It matches all the other storyboards we have in town, and we discussed placing it in Sunrise Garden right on the edge by 3rd Street sidewalk. in that place. So when that's complete, I'm sure we'll hear more about that. At the end of this month, Stacy and I are doing a bridal expo. It's held in Severna Park this year. We did it last year, it was in Annapolis. And we'll just, people come to these expos just to look for wedding dresses or wedding cakes or venues, anything. So we're just going to be there to promote what we do for weddings here in town. Other than that, just the normal daily stuff.
Thank you, Dawn.
You're welcome.
Do you have any questions, Dawn?
I'm just curious, I don't know if you have this information, Don, Stacy Titus, but do you have any data on the number of weddings? Do we have bookings for this summer? I'm just curious.
We've looked all those and with potentials and I don't have it. I can probably do that.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yep.
Okay, Veronica?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Just a couple things. Currently working on the list of sewers and flooding issues that we have all around the town, that's done and all like this created. So I'm working on a grant submittal for infrastructure improvements to include all of them, if possible. And I'm looking into two grants opportunities that are coming up. One is Maryland Community Resiliency Grant, and another one is Maryland Water Department of the Environment. Didn't have them at the time of my report, but those are the two ones I'm looking at right now for submission. And the ones that we have pending that are currently under review is still the NEA lighting proposal for the waterfront, the Healthy Homes program, and for Callis Park. Those are all pending. The only other thing that I wanted to ask, and I forgot to ask this last time, was is there any other priorities that the council has that they want me to put on my list to look for funding opportunities for the year 2018?
There's some things I'd like, you can talk maybe more offline, but some economic development types of things.
Veronica's available to any council member who would like to sit down and discuss.
Yeah, environmental light.
Yes.
Signage. That is out there.
For what, the park?
For the Callis Park?
No.
You're talking about for, at the beach, is that what you're talking about?
Oh, okay. Signage, we'll talk more about it.
Yeah.
And I'll catch up with you.
Yeah, let's don't do it at the meeting.
Sure.
Okay, listen, by the way, we always recognize our elected officials, and I apologize, Larry, for not recognizing you early. Councilman from Chesapeake Beach, Larry Jaworski, thank you for joining us. Now is the time for public comment.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Evening. Thank you for allowing me the time this evening to address the mayor and council. My name is Jonathan Diorio. Together with my wife Megan, we own Sweet Sue's Bake Shop on 7th and Bay. First, I'd like to thank everyone here for your efforts to market the town of North Beach as a premier location in Southern Maryland for a day trip or a short stay. Public perception and exposure has benefited businesses, residents, and government tremendously, and I commend the council on your continued work on that. Unfortunately, I'm here tonight to express my disappointment and frustration and request answers to the actions of the town on January 1st, 2018. Finding the right adjective to describe how I feel as a business owner in the town of North Beach has proven to be a challenge these past few days. I was baffled, insulted, angry, betrayed by the lack of foresight and seemingly blatant disregard for one of this town's longest standing businesses, approximately 12 years. Allow me to explain why. First of all, the town of North Beach solicits advertising partners for the annual Polar Bear Punch, as Dawn was describing. This is somewhat deceptive. Is this an event sponsorship, or is this a calendar year sponsorship for all events? For a sponsorship fee of $325, sponsors receive a spot on the advertising banner, which is prominently displayed all calendar year and visible at all events held at the boardwalk throughout the year. In addition, sponsors' logos put on a promotional t-shirt like this. I'm sure you guys all have one. They're Sweet Sue's. They sponsor the event, as well as online promotional advertising related to the event. Now, if the business does not sponsor the Polar Bear Plunge, their logo is not added to the banner, and the business loses out on the exposure all year long. So that's why it's a little bit deceptive. It's not just an event sponsorship. So it's an easy choice as a business owner in town. Sponsor the Polar Bear Plunge or miss out for the rest of the year for all events. So I would recommend separating the sponsorship of the banner and the sponsorship of the event, because they're two very different things. And to charge one price and market it as sponsoring the event, I don't feel is accurate. So Sweet Sue sponsored the event this year, as we have every year since 2012. And this isn't the sole reason for my disappointment. On January 1st, Sweet Sue's opened at 7:30 a.m. to prepare for the expected busy day ahead. January 1st, 2017, gross revenue generated by this event was approximately $1,600. So we plan to be busy again in 2018. By 10 a.m., a non-North Beach-based food truck mobile vendor was set up in the parking lot by the boardwalk. This mobile food truck was called the Coffee Table. The following is an excerpt from Anne Arundel County Economic Development Committee website. Based out of Tracy's Landing, Maryland, the Coffee Table LLC strives to provide specialty espresso drinks, coffee, teas, and hot chocolates to the residents and visitors of the Southern Maryland and Anne Arundel County communities. The Coffee Table wants to quench a thirst, satisfy a hunger, serving drinks, breakfast sandwiches, and pastries on their mobile coffee house. Wow. Does this sound like a similar Calvert County, North Beach-based brick-and-mortar tax-paying retail establishment? Would you like to know what the gross revenue generated from January 1st, 2018 was? $600. $1,000 less than 2017. That's a 62.5% drop in revenue. I don't think it was only because it was called out. I'm going to keep my time short here, because I know it's valuable to you. There's been a lot of increases for small businesses in Maryland that are putting a significant strain across the board. Just to summarize, in 3.5 years, there's been a 39% increase in the minimum wage in the state of Maryland. In 3.5 years, 39%. That's huge for a small business. That's a lot of coffees to have to sell to make up for that. So business retention has been a topic of continuing discussion with the Economic Development Committee and the Council. I've been to many meetings about this. January, February, and March in North Beach are particularly difficult for businesses. Many businesses have left or closed permanently in the years since Sweet Sue's has remained open. Keeping a business open in the winter months in North Beach is a daily battle. Take, for example, Chesapeake's Bounty. I'm proud to see that the community's banded together to keep this business from closing. Another vacant storefront in this town would damage the increasingly positive reputation and delay the progression and realization of the vision of the town model in North Beach. Mayor Frazier, I know that you were instrumental in working with Chesapeake's Bounty to get them to open here in North Beach. Having the support of mayor and council for all businesses in town is vital to the success of both the business and the town. I feel like you, our elected officials, have failed me as a local business owner. Now it's time to learn from your mistakes and ensure that this is never permitted to happen to anyone else. I'll summarize with the following questions that I would like to have answered tonight. Sweet Sue's Bake Shop and Coffee Bar was marginalized by the mayor and council on January 1st, 2018, when the Coffee Table mobile food truck was permitted to operate in the parking lot by the boardwalk. Why? I think I deserve to know. What is the screening process regarding application, licensing, permitting, and fees for food truck vendors to set up on the boardwalk? Why would a food truck be allowed to operate at an event that they did not pay to sponsor? What steps will be implemented to prevent an outside-based mobile food truck selling the identical products to a brick-and-mortar business in town from operating at these events? And why would North Beach approve a food truck vendor to operate when that truck sells the exact same products that a tax-paying brick-and-mortar business sells in town? Thank you, and I look forward to hearing your answers to my questions.
John, thank you for that presentation. We're not going to take time right now during public comment to answer all those. You deserve an answer. I'll be happy to meet with you personally.
That'd be great.
And we'll discuss those. You're a very valued member of the business community. I want you to know that.
Thank you.
And my apologies for something that we should not have done. I'll get in touch with you.
Thank you.
Can I ask something?
Sure, Don.
I can't answer about the food truck and all that, but I was a little confused about the sponsorship, but I'd like to speak to you.
Absolutely.
Maybe tomorrow if you have time.
Sure. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment?
I was going to say something, you know, I'm not even going to follow that.
All right, under business items, we have two. First is a change order for work done by environmental concerns. Johnny, you want to tell us briefly what this encompasses?
Real quick and briefly, this is for the surface water drainage part of the project. As you all know, that was a long-term project, and we came out to the end, we still need to get the water from behind, the street side of the room. So what this change order is for the cost of that work. Originally, we designed, working with environmental concerns that designed the system to take some of that water off, and they came up with a rough budget number. It wasn't a actual price of $16,900. We put in some piping, some grates, and some inlets to get the water from the grounds out the burn out into Ninth Street stormwater system. After we started looking a little bit more, and they came out, Paul's company came out, staked it out, it looked a little bit better, and they started the work. We decided to do 2 points to where we could take the stormwater off of those sides and come into Ninth Street, dig some work pipe at 2 different locations. So they had an extra inlet, they had to drill 3 concrete pipe twice. And while digging all the dirt, we knew it was going to be bad, we knew it was going to be that bad. So when they put the pipe in, we didn't want to have any damage to that pipe, and sensitive area anyway, we wanted to make sure it was in good, stable ground. So they had to wind up taking out 200 yards of material from where the pipe was excavated for, and haul that off site to a landfill, because nobody would even take it, so bad. So we did that, laid the pipe, and then we brought in some good, about 100, same amount of dirt coming in to backfill over the lines and make sure it didn't settle, make sure, we used, we didn't have any damage, and also we have a nice area, that created a really nice area from there. And then also, on top of that, they bring about 120 yards of topsoil to, finish up the area and throw in seed. So what it came down to was about $11,100 in material costs and labor to do the extra work. And it was $28,000, and then also a couple of the properties, we had to extend a little bit down by Murphy's there, we had to extend that out a little bit from the original design, and also a couple of properties got affected because of the way the slope was so minimal there, that they have someone run onto the property, so we had to do a little work there. We have had one homeowner, that came up to about $8,800 for regrading, we had to move some fence, had to do some landscaping dams going by saltwater before the project was complete. Total came up to like $36,960 for the work. We did have the resident, Captain Knight, who bought the house second, one right beside Murphy's, often paid for $1,500 worth of work that was done on her property. So we'll do some more work. That's kind of basically what that entails.
Is this a final figure?
Final figure. That's final, done, no work, and that's it. We're not getting anything. Yeah, this includes everything, all work.
Does this include, they plan to come back in the spring? I mean, a lot of the seed that they put down washed away, and a lot of the plants that they planned? Remember how hot it was
Well,
in
that
time of
was-
summer? Like,
What I would suggest we do is hold some retainage for that.
Yeah.
Gene, the senior vice president of the company, has told me that he will come back and replant. They, it seemed like every time they planted, it was either too dry, they had bad timing wise, just with the weather and everything, so they didn't have much luck with success with it coming up. They planted grass in all September, which was a pretty good month, but we had no rain September, October, and halfway into November, so it didn't really germinate and do well. They have came back in the past and replanted that berm twice with plants, but they need to come back and at least, plant the berm, and we need to have a discussion with them about the.
and the back sides too. Yeah, I would strongly suggest we hold something out until
Right.
like that's all done. That's a big piece of it.
I can work with Paul, we can come up with a number to, if they had to hydro seed that topsoil area, and we can, work with Gino, prepare a number of old retainers until the spring. For that, I would believe.
And are we talking just the berm? Because he was gonna come back and put some more seeds into the living soil.
Actually, I didn't put the plants, the actual the plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of his, that living shoreline's doing pretty well, it's not, it's established pretty well.
Yeah.
But the berm itself had a lot of plants that were planted in the drought, they tried to water them.
Right.
They came down, a couple times with a water truck, a couple times a week there for a while, but it just was too dry, and, burned up.
Yeah.
So I think they're obligated to replant the berm.
And it's the berm
ponds.
and the back sides,
The
not
backside
just
also
the.
needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
He's kind of, Kenny, I talked a little bit about, he kind of wants to wait, sometimes, I have a farm or whatever, the same thing, like, pastures and all. But sometimes the seed will stay in the ground and germinate in the spring. If it doesn't germinate, you're better off, if it just lays there all winter, and then when you get some rain and some sun, like March, April, it will germinate and come up, so you kind of want to see what happens. But you can't wait too long, because then you'll get into a hot part of the year, and you won't get the rain, so.
Right, you have to make
So
sure. it's-
April, May, we need to be seeing something happening,
We don't want mudslides.
mid-April, right?
Yeah.
Right, and that's a very important part, because that established grass and seed here is gonna be a lot to do with stopping stormwater sitting into the ground, so it will cause a runoff.
Exactly.
So to get that established, that's an important part of that project. was-
Keeps the berm stable,
Keep
but
the berm
also
stable,
helps
keep
with the
ground stable,
drainage.
Keep the drainage stable. They did a real nice job on getting everything to the grades, because it was real minimal to fall in, so they did a really good job, grading to get it down to where it needs to be. And we need some establishment to make it stay there.
We need to make sure that when you meet with them, which he has been, it's been a long process.
Right.
A fair number is what it would cost for us to hire somebody else.
That's what we can get.
Not what he says a fair number.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do
So
that.
just make sure, his fair number is the number when we have to hire somebody else to fix his mistake.
That's what I said, me and Paul can come up with something more.
Right.
He won't have to come to us with everything. We just got this morning. We were trying to get this information from it. So we just got this information today. Do we plan on retaining it? I don't know. I think that's part of the contract, or the final payment, like it's in the next 1 year or not. The problem with this process is the whole project is what's so long. Anything.
Right.
I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah,
Last time we held a little bit out, but I can't remember what the amount was.
I know, what we need to know, if we want to present to see what the cost was, but we're not guaranteeing paying anything until we research this a little better, to do that.
Right.
Proper time, we just got this at like 10 o'clock this morning.
So I know all the plantings are supposed to be guaranteed.
Is this 36.9 less than $1,500?
Yes, that's correct. For $36,960, and then you can minus the homeowner, key figure to bill out, I guess, for her, and she said she would reimburse the town for that work. Because it helps her backyard out, she kind of got some water away, so you do a little bit extra, so she's willing to reimburse the town for that work.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Let's say, pay the change order, less any holdback. You do with that deed, parking lot.
Yeah.
We can email that to the council members.
Well, I think whatever the amount is for planning.
The whole, whatever retainage you want to hold back, we can, Randy saying we'll pay the 36,000 minus whatever we don't for retainage.
Well, we've been working on this essentially through the last 10 years, this living shoreline. It's time we put it to bed.
don't want to lose money.
Right, but we need
It's,
to finish it right.
Gene has come back and claimed it to the shoreline, so you know, we've been had a good working relationship with them. But we also don't want to get, you know, caught in the
Well, so the change order minus what is going to be necessary possibly to receive.
Right.
You all will come up with the thing
We'll
for
come
that.
up with a number, we can email the council business.
Okay, so with that proviso, we have a motion to approve the change order. You did. Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay, Paul, you want to tell us about the charging station?
Yes, very quickly. So this past week, I actually purchased a electric vehicle myself. And as part of that, I tried out our charging station today, and I found out something kind of interesting. I think we inadvertently set our charging rate way higher than we thought we did. So, what we thought we were setting it at was $1.90. And what that actually means is that if you're plugged into the system for an hour, it's going to charge you $1.65 for that hour, plus 25 cents for every kilowatt hour you use for that charging. Now it charges at 7 kilowatt hours per hour. So basically what that comes down to is we're charging $3.30 or something per hour if you put the charging. With that, you get 20 miles of range.
Wait, for how much money?
$3.30.
Wow.
So there's something that's supposed to be cheaper than it is. And if you calculate out the actual per gallon equivalent, we're almost $5 a gallon is what we're charging at this thing. If you look down the bottom of the page, I looked at comparing it to other stations in the area. The closest one to us is Dunkirk, and they're actually free. You go to Dunkirk, it costs you nothing. Just plug it in, charge for free. We can't do that.
Really?
The next highest rate I could find within the 50-mile radius was only charging to 25 cents per kilowatt hour and no connection fee at all. So they were charging, I think it was like less than $2 for the hour. So basically what I'm recommending is we actually reduce this down and probably follow that rate where we just charge 25 cents per kilowatt hour and not charge the connection fee on there. I believe we're still making money on it, or at least breaking even, because the current BGE rate's like 18 cents a kilowatt hour or something like that. So we're charging beyond that. Now, what I don't know is what ChargePoint charges us. We have to kind of figure that out, but.
Right, and it was, when you gave the $1.90, they broke it out, some, what you said, the $1.65 for parking for it, and then to the other, but they get 25 cents of that dollar.
They do?
Of that $1.90, yeah.
Okay.
They were the ones who gave us the rate.
Yeah, they said, they,
We went to the sales guy, the rep came down.
they looked them up.
He's the one who wants it. I'm sorry.
They looked them up and comparable rates in the county is what they told us when I spoke to them on the phone.
I mean, I looked through their website, looking at all the charges in the area, and we are by far the most expensive.
Okay, well, this is going to require a change to our fee schedule. Right?
Right.
So I'm going to ask Paul and Joanne and Donnie if you would serve to put together a recommendation for that change to our fee schedule next month. Okay?
Can I ask Paul a quick question?
Sure.
Dunkirk being free, I'm wondering, like, are there grants that towns get or what to cover the cost of that to be able to offer it? Like, how are they offering it for free, I wonder?
So the one in
Who's
Dunkirk,
eating that?
the one in Dunkirk is actually through the MTA, so my guess is maybe a federal grant or just the governor or
There's a lot of different people just
to do that.
park their car there and they leave it all day.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen.
We don't want that here because this is the residential area, right? So I'm gonna have a charging station at my house, but if I can do that for free, obviously we do that. right?
Yeah.
So we don't wanna do that in the residential area. So I think what we wanna do is set the rate so that it's higher than the BGE rate, so if like anybody in the area has a car charging their house for that station.
But if you're visiting.
But we wanna make it something that's affordable for people to
Right.
actually visit.
Okay.
And we also, piling on to this, we also need to keep in mind that the notice the last couple of days, there have been normal vehicles parked in the spaces.
I think that's gonna be a particular problem during the farmer's market. So we might wanna have better signage and stuff there too for that kind of thing. I'll talk to Donnie about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I noticed that, and right now my document.
Yeah, we need good signage. Signage that scares them.
Well, sign scares them.
The whole park's like green. I know.
That says electric charging only.
Say we're gonna get a ticket.
Pretty bright green.
Yeah.
Did you get a Tesla?
No.
Was your car blue?
It was, yeah, it's,
Paul, let me just say, I don't know what we would do without you. Anybody else can do this.
I'm sorry for the math, I didn't put
It's that, all.
All right, thank you. Mickey, your report?
I was one of those crazy 147 that jumped in the bank. Fun times. I do not go out to my armpits like I normally do. I went about waist deep. I felt that was far enough. Because as far as you went out, you had to turn around and come back. I went up into San Francisco to look at the water main break. And the guys were working hard on it. I got the email from Blast, and then I left work and went up to see what was going on. Because I haven't seen one of those probably in 10 years. So, but they worked hard. The residents were cooperating. The normal, why are you doing this? I need to get through. And it's like, we're not gonna let you through because we don't know what's under the ground right now. Your car could fall into the ground. So a lot of it has washed out, which happened, I think, up in Baltimore. Well, those water main breaks in the past years. But once I explained that, they were all, oh, okay, we'll park down here. But their biggest issue up there with things like this is that they have no place to really park if they can't get to the house. And it being cold and snowy and whatnot made other issues as well. But other than that, thank you everyone for coming out. And I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Mickey. Gwen?
Happy New Year, everybody. It's good to see all of you out tonight. A couple of things. I had the opportunity to go to a legislative breakfast on Monday at the Rod and Reel and sat next to Catherine Marsh, who works for the state's attorney's office. And this goes back to our events. Just want to kind of put this out there. She was complimenting North Beach on the events that we have and how they're run here in town. And she's part of the Relay for Life race for the cancer fundraiser, and she would like to come and present and talk with us about potentially holding that event in North Beach in 2019. They've already secured, they plan these things so far in advance, but she was talking about the boardwalk and just was really excited about the idea. And so I just want to put that out there. I think we would welcome her to come and maybe present and pitch doing that event here. They usually do it in May, so that would be May of 2019. You guys are good. I'll coordinate with her and okay. Yeah.
This spring.
Perfect. The second piece actually ties in, John. Thank you for sharing and bringing that to our attention. That's one of those unintended consequences that shouldn't happen. I'm sure, as all of us, I just feel horrible about your experience. And this whole kind of chain of events that's happened with Chesapeake Bounty, I think has been an eye-opener. I know for me personally, I shop in there and it was sort of the 11th hour, didn't realize that they were on the verge of closing. And I think it's been a wonderful outpouring from the community, and they are going to reopen. I think everybody knows that on the 27th of January. But I think it sort of has sparked that we need to have better communication. We need to know even more what some of these unintended consequences might be. We're trying to support the businesses. So one of the things, the EDC, we have a meeting coming up in a couple of weeks. We're going to be talking about some listening sessions. What else can we do to support the businesses, hear things that maybe we just don't know, and look at other ways. Obviously we can't be there to run the businesses or provide direct financial support, but our role is to create an environment that helps you be successful, not take away from that, and bring resources to bear. Whether that's bringing in people from the county economic development, working with Veronica, who has tons of experience with grants. Are there things that we can bring in ideas or just getting feedback from the businesses to help you be more successful? So I am committed to doing that and working with the EDC to see how we can make those relationships stronger. I appreciate you sharing that tonight. That's it.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, a couple things. First of all, thank you for coming out. It's a crazy warm day today. I enjoyed the bullet plunge. I was one of the participants and will continue to do that. I want to pass a couple things on. You know, you hear us blast out, and I'm excited about the text messages because 99.9% of them are open. And I think it's going to be even the best way we have ever done in communication with town. Go anywhere, there's cell phones everywhere. And it's just the way it is. And I think our communication is going to improve with that, but we need to continue, you know, when we think about these pipes breaking, you know, we need to make sure we're checking on our neighbors, make sure, you know, Rick has continued the conversation about seniors or individuals that can't financially take care of or understand. I mean, we've said it 1,000 times, but it doesn't mean that they're getting the message about their vents and so forth. So it's easy to look outside, look left, look right, look forward to check on your neighbors. We need to continue to do that. Obviously, as a strong supporter of John, and I'm always in there. My son, I think, thinks he works there. But what's that?
A couple more years.
A couple more years. Again, we're all going to say the same thing. We apologize for what took place, unintended consequences that we need to continue to improve on not happening. So I'm sure we'll work it out and make it happen. But again, thank you so much for coming, and keep plugging in, and we're going to continue to get better as a town. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Jane?
Oh, I thank you all for coming out tonight. I had the opportunity yesterday to be up in Annapolis for the opening of the legislature. I sit on the legislative committee for MML, and so the town was sponsored a reception for all of the leaders up there. One of the wonderful things that came out of the legislative committee yesterday is that we are going to separate from the county, and we are going to go after HURs, which is highway user revenues, for the municipalities, which is a much smaller piece of money, pot of money. So I'm hoping I'm going to be getting a letter or a dummy letter or something up, and I'm hoping that I can pass them out and have you write letters to your congressman and to your delegate and your senator. And they indicated at the MML fall conference that they loved getting mail from people. So keep it short and sweet, maybe even a postcard, but I will have that information. Hopefully, I was hoping to have it today. I did not have it today, but I hope to have it for you for the next meeting, that we can get your help in getting that money returned to us. And John, I'm very sorry for what's happened.
Thank you, Jane.
And with the weather change, stay warm.
And I'd like to add one more thing about the old senior people. Paul was very kind and came over and shoveled my walks for me.
That was nice.
It was very nice. You watched, yeah, I know.
You're the one who told me I wasn't allowed to shovel.
I know, you're not.
I likewise attended the MML legislative reception last night, which, you know, these things happen every General Assembly when they open up. I mentioned earlier about all the parties. Mike was there. You remember Paris Glendenning? What is coming there? He was governor, I think, from 98 to...
No, before that. Wasn't it?
I was going to say 94 to 02, something like that.
Yeah, it's 25 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it better now.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he was there.
Yeah. So was Peter.
I don't
He
know.
just seemed different.
Well, you know, some people like to see him be seen.
Yeah. Why was he there?
Yeah.
Your grandchild gave it to me.
Yeah, because
And the new mayor of Annapolis gave some welcoming remarks. He must be British. Or Australian. A heavy accent. And then I didn't see you at the Chamber of Records.
I saw you there.
Yeah,
You were-
okay.
you were-
I spoke to John Gott twice today. John is the, as you know, the owner of the Citgo station down here. I'm inclined to call it the Fast Stop, but it's the Citgo station at Second and Chesapeake. And he told me that they are proceeding. They have submitted their paperwork for permits, to the county. So we are going to see activity there this spring. And Randy is, basically they're resurrecting the plans from 7 or 8 years ago. And they thought they might do this before the economy crashed, but they were hoping to build a new facility behind the old one and keep the old one open until the new one was ready to go, but they determined that it would be too close. They can't get in there and build a new building as long as the old one is standing. So the thinking is right now that the old one will have to be torn down in order for the new one to be built. So I guess we'll, could be without that convenience station for some months. Anyway, that's the thinking today, so we'll have to wait and see, but the good news is, in the long term, we are going to get a brand new Citgo station. And thank you all for coming out tonight. I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting and to move into executive session. You see the reasons printed before you on the agenda to discuss employment issues and to consider the acquisition of real property.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Thank you all, good night.